Stream starting a bit earlier than usual just due to how the schedule's working out for today. So today I mostly want to be playing with my Tempo Faie deck. It's something I made, well, during rotations, and I updated it again, post-rotations, but I didn't play it a whole lot until recently. I did a few games with one of its early versions on stream, a couple months ago, and I just had sort of neglected it until then. So I pulled it back out again because it felt pretty good back then, although, the matches were hard won, because the problem is I was over-teching against aggro and less against Wanderer, and so Sunset Paragon's actually been one of the better tech cards versus Wanderer lately. There's not much you can do to tech against Wanderer because the decks are unpredictable and have incredibly high variance. So all you can really do is be prepared for Wanderer itself. And Paragon is just a solid card all around and is particularly good versus, Wanderer itself and whatnot. And it fits really naturally into Tempo Faie. And that's the biggest change. Where in the past I was running that and my Blood Tier Alchemist. I was running Healing Mystic instead of Blood Tier Alchemist, and I was running Cloudcaller instead of Sunset Paragon. And just because I was really afraid of the aggro, and Cloudcaller was just such a good card. But not too long ago I changed that out, and that really made a big difference versus Wanderer and Heartseekers and Eggs. So it felt good. While I am more vulnerable to aggro is actually not quite as popular as it was because people have adapted the Wanderer decks to include more healing. So there's not nearly as much aggro. And plus, Hailstone or Azure Herald and/or Hailstone mixed together go a long way as it is. Plus, the deck can be very aggressive and can keep up the pace with a lot of aggro decks. Other than those two sort of recent meta techs, the deck really hasn't changed. It's still rocking my favorite, Dispel package with, EMP Bender because, well, Bender is particularly good versus walls and faults, so it's felt really good in the meta lately. EMP is just a good card all around, but more importantly, when you are able to dispel either Wisp or Moose, those cards go from okay to really good. And because Moose is a Vesper, it lets it spit Cryo as well, and you can also do Hailstone on Wisp. It's a really fun deck. There's a lot of positioning with it, and you can either sort of, be like hyper-aggressive tempo, or you can sort of play the long game with Faie's Bloodborne spell, depending on what you need to do. And so far, it's been performing really well. I'm going to see if I can take it to top 10 this season. If it doesn't work out, oh well. If I really was committed to top 10, I'd play, probably the Fault Xerix, or Egg Ragnarok. Somebody's chatting me up at the forums. But, if I really was committed to top 10, I'd play either Fault Xerix or Egg Ragnarok of some variety. But I want to see if I can take this there. I'm sure I'll be able to land top 50. I'm already... that's not a problem, but I'd like to see if this can get, at least top 15. Just because it's a deck I really enjoy. It's really versatile. It's got a lot of sort of my favorite signature tech bits, like, I guess Moose and Cryos mostly. The rest of it's fairly standard for Tempo Faie, but, a couple slots make a big difference, and, it's the slots that have really made the difference are Cryo, Moose, and Paragon in there. That's really what's made the difference. Alright, so we are up against Suku playing Archeon. Hard to say what he's playing, but if it's tempo, I mean, we should be able to well, in theory, we can out-tempo him. Archeon's one of the few decks that can actually out-tempo us. If it's Titan, we need to find our EMPs. Hey, Alex, thanks for stopping by. I don't quite know what that means. I think I'm going to hold on to a Moose Lightbender combo here. I'm reluctant to replace my Mentor, but let's see. I mean, Mentor can also go a long way versus Titan.
I think it just means what's up.
Let's see. So, right, most of them digging for EMP, and of course Malicious Wisp. So, well, I really don't want to replace it. I'm going to go ahead and toss it away because I really want to find Wisps and EMPs. So we'll just go ahead and open with a Herald. Solid enough open. Go into the turn 2 Moose, followed by Bender. Should work out. Oh, well, we got our Mentor back anyways. Mechazord. It's probably, as I like to call it, Voltron, which is Titan Mechs, which is solid. So now we've got a real solid line of play here. Let's see, so let's hop up here, let's kill this off, denying his globe, and then we can throw down a Moose to deny that globe. And now we need to decide, I mean, I 100% was going to make that play, but now I need to decide if there's anything else in my hand. Right, now that we know what he's playing, you know, Titan Mechs. We really want to be digging for that EMP, so I have to replace. Cryo is actually pretty good versus basically all of his minions, but like, we need the Bender for next turn. I really don't want to replace my Mentors, but because they go a long way towards aggression, but no, we can do without the Cryo, because we can... Okay, Frostburn works too. Yeah, so ideally, he gives us something to dispel next to this Moose. And is not next to the Moose, unfortunately, so... What we can do is we can just go ahead and clear that off with Cryo. We won't even bother trying to dispel our Moose here. So, let's go ahead and clean that up. Now we'll replace the spare Moose. See what we find. The Hailstones aren't bad. They're not great, though, because, you know, we don't want to give them extra mech progression. And Mechazord itself only costs 4 mana. Now I have the option of, you know, taking the globe and getting Warbird, but I'd rather save that for Mentor, and besides, we want to get pretty aggressive here. Because once the 7 mana turn rolls around, it's going to be a hard time. Yeah, we certainly don't need 2 Frostburns. Good old Sunwisp. We really need to find ourselves a Wisp so that we can keep him off of his 7 mana turn. Although this is a pretty good Paragon spot. Unfortunately, though, Frenzy... I don't think Frenzy does proc off of Paragon. It does off of Rebuke, but I don't know if it procs off of Paragon. So it's a bit of a shame. I don't want to waste my Mentor. I may just sort of walk away from that and plan on Frostburning next turn, that's probably the better bet. Let's go for that. Let's just hype up the aggression. We can always Frostburn the sword away soon, and we'll just go for Mentor shenanigans right now. Fortunately, there's no way I can play around a Holy Immolation, but we're pretty sure he's playing Titan, so we're not too worried about it. We're just going to amp up the aggression here, and just taking a hit from Moose here. That's brutal. He's so low on health. Now that I've got Field Wipe and my Mentor engine in, it's pretty well over for him. Okay. Alright, yeah, I think Alex, well, I'm pretty sure Alex is right. I'll take his word for it. Yeah, Rebuke procs Frenzy, but Paragon does not. But both do work on things like Sojourner or Pregatos. Oh, he's not Titan! Well, interesting. We still likely just have a pretty good Frostburn. Well, if he just trades everything, into Moose, then Frostburn may not be worthwhile. But we'll see. If he instead opts for the, well, body blocking's not, okay, he's blood tearing. It's still probably a good Frostburn turn since he's just trying, yeah, it's a good Frostburn turn. I do have... Alright, well now that he's not playing Titan, that does change things. Yeah, we're Frostburning. Well, actually, maybe? Well, okay, I know Mentor's got to wander over there. Now, Paragon's good against, if he drops an EMP or something. Frostburn's just perfect for now. Do you want to dig for... Yeah, no, let's just keep it simple. Frostburn, go face, and we can probably do a Moose next turn. Moose and Hailstone's likely. Let's see here. Again, we do still really want to dig for an EMP. Yeah, we can afford to replace the Paragon. Because Paragon probably won't help us deal with EMP anyways. I mean, it might, but... Okay, I think we just have game with Hearth Sister, Mentor. Because, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Oh, okay, well, now he's out of our immediate lethal range. But we'll see what happens here. Alright, probably getting Mechazor. Well, I certainly don't want to Hailstone it. It's still probably my best bet. Oh. Well, that changes things now that I can't Hailstone it. So I might do sort of a weird, cheeky play with Hearth Sister. Alright, well, Moose can go. Alright, so here's what we're... Okay. 4... 5, 6... No, we need to do 4, 5, 6. Alright. Not quite what I want to do, but it will work. So we will send that... that may have not been wise, actually. But this is fine. So we'll pop this over there. We will dispel that. We'll get our Warbird off. And we can always Hearth Sister one of these guys back over shortly. let's come here and just attack that.
Ooh.
Hopefully he's not running, like, Magnetize.
Pet a cat.
Probably. I sort of regretted it after I did it. I just really wanted the Mechazor as far away as possible, and I had the backup Hearth Sister. You know, doing it so I had my other folks closer was certainly a valid line of play. But Alright, let's see here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, we've got game. Alright. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, alright, we've got game. And this was sort of my plan, was I'd just be able to Hearth Sister something back on over to finish things. And I just wanted to make sure the Mechazor was far away. Alright, yep. That worked out well. Yeah, very much enjoying the deck. It really feels strong. Like, probably going to give it an S rank rating soon. I just want to see if I can take it to top 10. Alright, if it's Wanderer, we need one of these Paragons. If it's not, we'll replace it. It's a bit early for EMP, although EMP can be very good versus Rag.
No.
But it is a bit early for him, especially... No. Yeah, it's too early for EMP. This is not a ramp list. The only ramp in it is Wisp. If we had a Wisp in hand, I would have held on to the EMP. But as we do not, it's just a little early for EMP. Oh, of course, there's our Wisp. Alright. And yep, it is indeed Wanderer Rag. Yay! So we need this Paragon. And that Wisp will be good. Well, I don't want to replace a Mentor. I need to be digging for a Lightbender or more Wisps to try and keep him off of his Wanderer as long as possible. So it's a shame to use a Hearth Sister as an opening play, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, because getting that turn 2 Wisp is important. No, that's a good deal. We have Bender, Wisp, and/or ideally, we do turn 2 Wisp, then we switch to Moose, and then we get to Bender. 2 of those, and if we're really lucky, one of his things, so we can get like a 2 for 3 out of that Bender. But we'll see what happens here. If he pulls some ping out of his ass, like Wanderer tends to do, and kills my Hearth Sister, then, we still have Mentor for our turn 2. Celebrant. Well, yep, alright. Well, he pulled some ping out of his ass.
That's a really unfortunate way to say that.
He has Maw or Loglex. There are 2 things in the deck that could do that for him. And of course he found
I know, them. I'm just...
Anyways. Alright,
sounds painful.
Okay, we have to kill the Maw. And sort of contest that globe over there. Then we're probably playing the Mentor, and especially do we want to play something else? I don't know if we're going to have the time to set up a Bender, Wisp, and Moose. And let's see, what else would we want to find? Like, obviously we'd want to find an EMP, a Hailstone. Yeah, there are things we want more than to set up the Moose play. Yeah, Paragon works. Far from ideal, but... Alright, so set up a defensive... I should have actually played the Mentor before moving, that way I could contest both of these globes, but what's done is done. It's not like I wanted to put the Mentor into a position where it was in danger anyways. Well, we shouldn't need 2 Paragons, because really we only need... Because Paragon in general isn't good against Ragnarok, it's just good against Wanderer. So we really only want 1 for the Wanderer itself. So I'll probably be setting Wisp up. I'll have to unfortunately put my Mentor in... Well, I guess I don't necessarily have to put the Mentor at risk, but we'll see what happens here. Wisp should keep him off of Wanderer for a bit here. Even if I can't keep him off of it, then we'll see here. Well, that's certainly obnoxious. These perfect, bizarre hands. Alright, well, if I don't play Wisp this turn, he gets his early Wanderer, which will just really suck. If I do play Wisp, it's probably just going to die, and I'm going to miss my Mentor proc. I've got the Paragon, so I can ultimately deal with the Wanderer. It's just going to be a massive pain if it comes down this early. Let's see, my other bet is 1, 2, 3, just store up on Warbirds. And hopefully get a Paragon play. Yeah, I think just storing up on Warbirds is my best bet. I mean, playing the Wisp now does keep him off of Wanderer. It's a real shame to miss my Mentor procs, but we really don't want a Wanderer this early, so we'll do what we have to do and start beating up this Primus now. Definitely a shame to go for that line of play, but you know, Wanderer's just managed to pull perfect draws out of his butt here. You know, had an answer to my turn 1, had a ramp, had a provoke. Hey, Black Waltz, thanks for stopping by. What's up? Oh, okay. And he was also able to clear the Wisp. Jeez, this guy is... I hate Wanderer so much. Just so much crapshoot out of it. Massive pain. I'm doing alright. Although I am so sick. I mean, I was sick of Wanderer like day 1. This is definitely the second worst meta of all time.
With how much crap you give it, it's hard to believe it was ever worse.
Well, I mean, that was...
Stop trying to fight the back of
Crackhead Cass? I'm unfamiliar with this. Unless you're talking about Hisuku's, like, Steel Tempo Cass, which is a bizarre deck. Oh, cool, Quaz, I haven't seen you in forever. I was worried you'd, like, died or something. Alright, well, I need to take my turn here. We don't need that many cryptos.
That is sweet.
Yep, I guess we're... Alright, so we're going to clear this. We're going to play a Warbird, for lack of something better to do here. And I guess we'll just play the spare crypto, just so we're not wasting any mana. Well, not wasting much mana, and we'll have a Paragon for next turn. Unfortunately, he's had just a perfect hand. Unfortunately, no. Duelist is probably in the worst state it's been in since October Riva. Although there is Meltdown League, which is a really, really cool tournament. And yeah, no, unfortunately, there's just lots of Wanderer and lots of Burn and aggro, and it's just miserable. But I've been trying to break the meta with various other things, but Tekken against Wanderer is a problem. We're likely playing... I guess that's one way to put it. I'm not a fan of the various... So hopefully he'll give us a perfect Paragon turn here by attacking with both of these. If he attacks with both of those, then yeah, we have a perfect Paragon, but unfortunately we're too far behind from his perfect hand to probably recover. But you know, this will be a really strong tempo play that will get off of this Paragon, and we will have a chance at least. Alright, I have to stay moderately close to be able to clear the egg. But it's definitely not looking good for us. He's had a perfect hand, and our hand has been rather unfortunate. And we are just too low on health to probably tempo through at this point. Oh man, his top decks never cease to amaze me. This is the list I'm playing, although if you're talking about Crackhead Cass, it's basically, you know, the standard sort of like aggro tempo Cass shell, but then they threw in a few unusual tech cards like you know, the various steel minions, steel minion from the deck card, well, steel cards from the deck, and a few other things like that. I'm definitely not sold on the deck, but it certainly has its potential. Fortunately, when Wanderer high rolls, because it's the highest variance deck I've seen since Meltdown, the Meltdown era, there's not much you can do about it. But when they don't draw like a god, normally this deck walks all over them. Alright, Hailstone Wisp is always rude. Paragon, well, we don't need 2 Blood Tears. It's probably Trial Brome, but it might be Wanderer Brome.
Well, can't you look?
Not until after I finish replacing.
Ooh.
And Paragon is garbage versus Trial Brome, but really important versus Wanderer Brome.
I mean, which is more common?
Trial Brome is more common. So I think I'm going to replace this and hope he's not playing Wanderer Brome. And if he is, oh well. We'll manage. Like, we can probably just keep him off of Wanderer with Hailstone Wisps. Oh, it's neither. Huh.
What is it then?
Probably Titan.
Huh. Well, so how is your hand set up against that then?
Against Titan, I mean, it's fine. Like, Wisp messes with that in general. Now, I could double... Alright, well, since he's neither Trial nor... I'm reluctant to replace my Frostburn, but... Because he still might be Swarm. I really want to make sure I get my turn 2 Wisp. I just don't want to dump my hand with that. But, let's see. I mean, I'd rather just find a proper 2-drop. Alright. Oh, he's disconnected. Oh, that could make things easy, I guess. Reluctant to replace the Frostburn, but... No, I might need it. Yeah, let's just make sure we get our turn 2 Wisp. Unless he Tempests us, but if he Tempests us, then that's his whole turn at least. Man, I don't see stealing cards from them really hurting them. It's not like Wanderer can reliably find anything that it needs anyways, and they never know what they're going to draw as it is, so stealing cards from them really doesn't change them much. It's not like they can reliably dig for anything in particular, so I don't see it do them that much. And Infest is a really cool card. I've always wanted it to be good, and it certainly does have potential versus Fault and Swarm, but I've never really been sold on it either. I mean, Wanderer doesn't really have options in the first place. They can't reliably find anything regardless. Alright, well, since he's running Tempest, that's a pretty good sign he's not running a Swarm deck. Well, we know we're going to come up here and contest stuff. Now, do I Globe Deny with the Hearth Sister, or do I conserve resources because I am not a fan of the Abyss Steel cards because they're almost as much of a crapshoot RNG as Wanderer itself. And if Infest was 2 mana, it'd be just a strong aggro tool. At 3, it's just awkward. Hey, Vector thing. Yeah, let's go ahead and deny the Globe. Just don't want him to have that. We'll just transition into... Well, I guess he's not Titan, he's not Swarm, and he's not Trial or Wanderer. I don't know. Maybe he's Bond? I don't know. Argion's usually the go-to for Bond, but...
Maybe it's something entirely new.
Oh, maybe it's like the do-it-yourself Titan list.
What's that?
It's a list I made a long time ago. So Titan is a 7-mana card that hold on, I need to finish this turn. I'm in a tricky spot here. Alright, well, let's just... we won't deny the Globe from him. No, maybe denying the Globe's the best bet. Let's make sure he can't have it, and he can't trade into us. We'll just go for that. Alright, so anyway, so Titan is a 7-mana Lionar card. To play it, you can't have any spells in your deck. And when you play it, it equips a bunch of really, really powerful artifacts. So the alternative, the do-it-yourself Titan, is to just play spells and run those artifacts.
Okay.
Alright, so there's no sense in Warbirding right now because he'll just absorb the damage. So we're just going to hang tight with what we got. Probably transition into Bender, or maybe we'll go for a Wisp. Well, we may not need to Bender that Moose, so we'll just probably throw out a Wisp and we'll go from there. Alright, so... Whew. Oh, fancy. He's Radiant Standard. Okay. So he's just dedicated artifacts. Pretty cool. Alright, let's see here. Alright. Bender can go. Okay, we can shatter his artifacts just ping spamming. So we can... Okay, Warbird the first time. Oh, fancy. And Intensify works off of that, too. And then we'll do it a second time. And now we can finish those artifacts off. Yeah. Fortunately, not only am I running, you know, Crypto Mentor, I'm also running EMP, so fortunately this guy's in for a pretty bad time. And that Frostburn. Okay. I mean, I've always really wanted to... I probably should have played around Holy Immolation. That was my fault, but hey, we've got a good Frostburn turn, so this is fine. Now, I've always wanted Infest to be good, but I largely just dismissed it. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful Frostburn turn. I might just replace the Wisp at this point, since it's just not gonna... I mean, it's still not a bad card. It'll make his turn a little awkward. It's got a decent body. Let's see, what else? I mean, I guess I really want to find an EMP. Yeah, I'm just gonna toss the Wisp. Okay, that works. Like, Infest... I may have to give it a serious try. I mean, I'm not going to run the steal cards from your opponent's stuff, but I may have to revisit Infest again. Frostburn Warbird spam, probably not much you can do about it. It does that. Okay. Paragon can go, because it's just not going to do much versus Rome. Alright, so Paragon out. Ooh, tempting. Well, can I just win via Mentor spam? No, I'm one short doing that. We can do that next turn, so we can go ahead. Frostburn this turn. Let's see, does that work on counterattacks? And your general attacks. It doesn't work on counterattacks, but do I want to eat that 5 face damage, since he's going to do me the... favor of attacking. Let's see. Alright, so what's the worst case scenario? So if I eat 5 damage now, that puts me at 7 health. And then he would be able to attack again for 2, putting me at 5. Okay, so I would still survive a Holy Immolation. Let's just make sure he can't get a free spawn off. And that way, even if he does heal, he's still probably dead to Mentor spam. My health is uncomfortably low here. I mean, Hazuka's been playing it a lot lately, and it tends to do pretty well for him. I've just matched up against him a lot. Okay, so yeah, there's that. But, as expected, I can Hailstone his Provoke. Oh no, he may be able to throw down a second Provoke. So I may not actually be able to win this turn, unfortunately. Alright, well, we'll toss the Moose. We don't need it. Well, I mean, I guess you guys are subscribers, so I do need to oblige you, although I am reluctant to do so, because I really wanted to try and take this deck to top 10 and playing with Infest Cass is really gonna crap on my rating. Alright, well, we'll just go ahead and throw down a Mentor, Warbird. We'll save the spare Warbird, clear out this, Hailstone that, because we cannot afford to have that much damage sitting around. And we'll heal up, that way we're out of immediate lethal ranges. And now, I probably should have thrown the Herald here. I mean, that doesn't play around Holy Immolation, but it would have protected my Mentor a little bit here. I think playing around Holy is the better bet. He hasn't played a Holy yet, and we know it's coming. And unless he spends his turn healing, he's dead to just the Warbirds. I can certainly tinker with the list at the very least after this match. And we'll start with whatever Alex's shell was. I had an old Infest list somewhere. He's got to heal this turn or he's finished. He's got to heal more than that tile. Well, I guess a Provoke could also do it. Oh, Regalia, that might... No, I don't think so. Wait, no, yeah, Regalia will do it if he just clears the Herald right now. Especially then if he throws down a... I mean, I might need the Bender just to clear the Provoke and the tiles. Oh, wait. I have game. What am I thinking? Just clear the Provoke, attack, double Warbird. Yeah, no, we're good. I was way overcomplicating that. And we're getting pretty close to top 10. I think we're in the 20s now. Yeah, there we are. We're in the 20s now. I do think this Faie list can do it. It's just a matter of, can I actually just sit down and ladder for long enough to do it, and then can I maintain it till the end of the season? I guess I still have like a week here, so I mean, that's why I usually don't get top 10, is because I'm like, alright, I made it there, time to go play janky stuff like Infest Cass and tank my rating. Alright, well, I will definitely not be playing Right or Conversion. These cards make me so angry. Like, first of all, they're responsible for Abyss getting pretty well ripped off in the expansion. Second of all, they're crazy high RNG crapshoot cards, so I also dislike them on that principle. And C, I'm still not convinced they're actually good, even against Wanderer, because, you know, Wanderer can't pull anything reliably anyways. Alright, so let's go through. Actually, I'm just gonna start using one of my aggro shells and take a look from there. Given it may end up as more of a tempo list than aggro, but but we'll see here. So I don't want to think. I don't think Duelist is dying. I think we're just in a slump until quarter 4. But let's see here. So that's generally my attitude. As long as I'm top 50, I'm happy. But mostly the folks on the power rankings ignore you unless you're in the top 10. I mean, it's still a crapshoot because you never know if you're going to get one of their 2 drops or something important. And sometimes a lot of people are playing synergistic things, which just won't do anything for you. Alright, let's see here. Again, I would rather play Rite of the Undervolt if I was going to do that. That way I, actually draw stuff I know I want. I mean, it's not likely. It's unlikely to pull what you want specifically. Alright, let's see here. Nope, not creep. Probably one of the aggro shells. This is... no, alright, death. Let's see, intensify. Okay, well, let's start with just your standard aggro Cass shell. Wait, what? No, Right doesn't reduce the cost, only Conversion does. And Conversion... wait, no, neither Right nor Conversion reduce cost at all. If they actually... if they actually reduced cost, those cards would be good. You're thinking about the Sentinel, Tormentor. Tormentors... okay, oh, I see. No, okay, yeah, you were talking about Tormentor. I thought you were talking about Right and Conversion. Yeah, no, Tormentors... let's see here. Tormentor is a solid card. Personally, I've always preferred Xerath, but I'll usually run both if I'm running one. No, yeah, Tormentor is a solid card. Conversion and Right, on the other hand, are bad. But no, neither Right nor Conversion. Deck. Like, Right does not reduce things, neither does Conversion. If they did, they might actually be good. But unfortunately, they do not, and they're just crapshoots. No, Conversion does not. It gives you a small, tiny buff. It gives you a First Wish buff. It's crapshoot First Wish. That's what it is. Alright, well, let's see here. So let's go ahead and cut out, like, some of the more awkward cards here. Like, we're just going to remove the Dark Seeds, Bone Crush. I don't know. Actually, let me start over. Alright, so Infest. I don't know. Either you're remembering wrong, or there was a graphical glitch, or, he got it with Mentor and it was reduced to 2. If it was to draw a card from your deck, it would be good, because that lets you thin your deck, it lets you dig for specific things. Drawing from your opponent's deck, on the other hand, more often than not, you're not going to get something that matches up with your game plan, and now you've done your opponent the favor of thinning his deck. Sphere was good because it was a ping, which was a really, really big deal. The ping was the big deal part, because it would help you, it would let you deny globes, it would let you break artifacts, it would let you finish things off, and it would cycle. Like, cycles draw cards from your decks. Demonic Conversion does not. Demonic Conversion is just a weird crapshoot that most of the time is going to draw something for you that isn't part of your normal game plan and then thins your opponent's deck. Does not feel good to me at all. Alright, so let's see. So Infest is what we're thinking about. Like, so yeah, we've already got Grasp. You know, Infest, like this is, like an aggro list is definitely where Infest could really work out. Now, I mean, that being said, being a 1-mana card, you know, just a curve filler that doesn't, you know, hurt your hand, like, it's not a bad card. I think Unfathomable Right is a bad card. Conversion is not an inherently bad card, because, you know, you play it on those turns that you were going to have a spare mana anyways, and it just keeps you from wasting, you know, it's a curve filler, and it's not bad. But I am not a fan. Right, on the other hand, I do think is very bad. Alright, so let's see. So Infest is what we want to try and fit in here. Other things I in the past thought about doing with Infest was you know, going all in and doing silly things like with Komodo or Spriggan. I think more likely what it's going to want to do is go in with a, you know, like Repulsor, Demonic Lure, Thunderhorn, Shell. Alright, let's see here. Bone Crusher can, let's just drop the Bone Crusher for now. Do we drop our high end? Maybe. Let's see here. We've got the Infest in. Now what I really want to fit in is Repulsor and Thunderhorn, because Repulse, Demonic Lure, both go really great with Grasp, Gibbet, and Thunderhorn. So I just want to make this sort of like a, you know, a position manipulation deck. So let's see here. Yeah, let's cut the end game there. Throw in the Repulsors. And yeah, again, this may end up being a tempo list and not an aggro list. I'm starting with the aggro shell. All right, so now I need to find room for the Thunderhorns. I suppose Spelljammer could. Well, they've convinced me to toy around with Infest. I'm fairly staunchly against running the steel cards from your opponent's deck stuff because but yes. Yes, Black Waltz is throwing around his subscriber power. And to make matters worse, Quaz is doing the same thing. So I have 2 subscribers saying, "Play the thing."
Having power if you don't make people do silly things with it. Just say.
All right. So let's see here. So let's see. I'm probably just going to cut the Darkseed package off. I don't know. I still like the Darkseed package. Let's see. All right. So we've got the Repulsor. Now we need the Thunderhorn. Because, yeah, Repulse, Demonic Lure is just going to be really nice with Infest, with Thunderhorn, with Gibbet, just all kinds of good stuff here. Alright, now that we're cramming up on the 4-cost cards, we really probably don't... Yeah, the Darkseed package is what is eating up room here. Alright, Waltz is insisting you've expressed an interest. Alright, so yeah, let's go ahead and just cut the Darkseed package altogether here. I have thought about Komodo. I am still seriously considering Komodo. Like, early, like when I really, really early on, when I did try to play with Infest on its release, Komodo was definitely a thing I tried out. But, you know, Komodo still may make it in here, because Komodo is pretty cool. It's good with it. I mean, alright, so yeah, let's just, yeah, we're going to cut the entire aggro draw cards package. I'm probably just going to cut the aggro side of it as well, because we're really going to want our 2 drops. Alright, so that gives us room to work with here. So now we get Thunderhorn in there. We'll go ahead and throw Komodo in for now, because it's a cool card that I always wanted to play, but always ended up really awkward. And since we're starting to move towards the tempo direction, you know, and you know, this is the deck where Komodo is really going to be like, we're running Infest, we're running Thunderhorn, we're running Grasp of Agony. Like, this is definitely the deck where Komodo could really shine, and he's just a pretty solid tempo tool in general. Like, we won't play him on curve most of the time.
He's a jaunty little lizard. Look at his little antennas. Oh my god, I love it. I'm sorry. Okay, I just looked over there and he was like bouncing.
Yeah. Between Infest, Thunderhorn, and Grasp, I think Komodo can pull a lot of work. So, like, he won't be played as a 3-mana play. He'll be played as like a 4 mana plus, like 4 mana Grasp. That'll be a common thing. All right, so we're moving along here. I mean, I'll take a look if he sends it to me, but I am going to move it. I am going to at least build the deck in the direction that I feel comfortable with. It is? Oh, there. Okay, there it is. All right. Yeah, Sentinels will like. I will absolutely will not run Unfathomable Right, and I'm still pretty staunchly against conversion. Now, Infest, on the other hand, is something I'm super excited about. Yeah, this looks exactly like what Hasuka's been playing lately. All right, so okay, so we've got fun time package there. Okay, so now we need 2 drops. So all right, we gotta have our 9/2 drops, especially since we've loaded up on some 4 mana plays here. Alright, so standard option. I'll just throw in my go-tos for now. I know they may end up swapped out for Flame Blood. If I end up going more aggro, or they may just, you know, more tempo cards here. Let's see here. Alright, well, Black Waltz, you could ask for either the cards that I hate or Infest, but not both. Because Infest I'm actually excited about. The other one I want to avoid on principle here. Alright, so we've got a good foundation. Okay, so what we're currently lacking is card advantage. Because I cut all of it other than Spelljammer, or other than Desolator. So I still think this probably wants to be an aggro. Okay, so I could go the Sentinel package because they're always fun, or I could switch it back over to aggro. So I could, you know, throw a Flame Blood in, throw a Spelljammer in. No, let's for now go the tempo route. Alright, so let's get Sentinel. Let's get the Sentinel squads in here. Alright, well, if I have to choose, I still prefer Zeroth to Tormentor. But I'd like to run both. Or I'd at least like to go like a 2-2 split just for the mind game factor, which means I need to cut something else. Alright, we can't eat into our 2-drops. I mean, I guess Komodo doesn't have to be 3x since he's going to be awkward to play a lot of the time anyways. Alright, so that's the shell we're working with. We have Sentinels and Desolator for card advantage. We have healing excessively covered between Pulse, Desolator, and those guys. Okay, we probably don't need nearly as much healing as we have right now. I might end up cutting the Pulses? Like, because we want to be... Well, it's a question of, do we want to go tempo or do we want to go aggro? If we want to go aggro, then, you know, we drop the healing dudes for stuff like Primus. I mean, I don't see how the Infest and the card steals are related to each other at all. Like, these are just awkward crapshoot cards that don't have synergy at all because by their very nature, you have no clue what they're going to do. Alright, so do we want to go more aggro? Oh god, right, never mind Lathan Infest. I haven't done that with Infest here, but I have made that mistake with Grasp of Agony in the past. I was like, oh yeah, I can force this minion to kill itself with the grasp on it. Oh no. Oh no. I mean, you might take their removal, or you might take 2-drops. It's just, or you might take things that just have no synergy with your deck and are super awkward. It's just 2 out of 3 draws you're gonna get off of those are not gonna be good. Sometimes it'll work out great, but I mean that's the nature of, you know, RNG crapshoot cards. I just don't like them. It's why I hate Wanderer. It's why it's like, I want to build a deck that does a thing. Alright, so we've got our shell here. We need to decide whether to go more tempo or more aggro. If I cut the pulses, that lets me, you know, go up to 3x on everywhere else and keeps my... I don't think it'll be decent most of the time because people play cards that are good for the deck that they're playing. And cards that are good in one deck aren't good in another person's deck. So I'm just not... And again, to play Unfathomable Right at all, now you can make the rights work. Either one of them can work, but you have to like really load up on a really low curve to do it. Alright, so pulses are still just good cards. If we take them out, we really could be struggling against artifacts. I still really do want to be an aggro list, so let's leave the pulses in. Let's cut the, well, let's at least, because, you know, Grasp and Infest really do lend themselves toward aggro, so let's move in that direction a little bit here. You know, Mystic's still just a good card. let's see. We can't go down on our 2-drops any more than we have. Still not sure if I like Infest as a 3. Well, right now, with the way this deck's designed, it makes sense. Normally, like, you know, Grasp and Infest are those, like, 2 of tech slots, but this is a little bit of a unique circumstance. I mean, I have seen it. I've played against Tasuku, playing it like 10 times, and I beat him most of them. I beat him most of those games. He did get me once or twice, just because he's a great player, and a few things didn't work out. But he never beat me by stealing cards from me. That was never a factor. He beat me because he got, you know, he curved out well, and I didn't, and he positioned well, and, you know, he drew all the healing when he needed to. Alright, so I'd still really like to get these guys to 3 ofs, but perhaps just leaving that 2-2-2 split here is the way to go. And just, let's see, is card advantage covered? Let's see, we have 7 methods of drawing cards. Maybe it's the Komodo that's holding us back.
Oh no!
Because I've tried and tried and tried to make Komodo good, but it never has worked out. It's always been awkward. And between Repulsor and Lure, we already have all the tools we need for Infest and Grasp. And the way Komodo works, you're probably never really going to get him in a... Well, he'll work for Grasp, but probably not Infest here. Alright, so Komodo works with Grasp, but that's about it. It doesn't reliably work with Infest, and it doesn't reliably work with Thunderhorn. And we really want the card advantage from the Sentinel squad here. Yeah, I think unfortunately Komodo needs to go. It's a shame, because I've always wanted to make him work, and I figured Infest would be the place that he could go, but I'm foreseeing a card advantage issue because we have a really low curve. You know, we've got 15 2-drops and 6 1-drops. Yeah, we really need the card advantage from our Sentinel squad. And Komodo is super cool and could work, but we need the card advantage more. Alright, so there we go. So we have... It's a very aggressive deck with some, you know, high positional synergy. Now, is Healing Mystic still what I want? Other options are, you know, good old Primus. I mean, because we have Pulse and we have Desolator, so we're not lacking on healing, especially with a fast game plan. So, alternatives to... I mean, there's always good old Blood Tear. Blood Tear's never a bad pick. So let's see here. Blood Tear, Primus. Blood Tear is awfully good nowadays. And yeah, we've got our healing covered, so let's, okay. So really, really low curve, but we have 9 sources of card advantage, one of which can be recurring, and we have set ourselves up to be a very aggressive list, so we don't need to last into the late game. We have gobs of control tools between Repulsor, Lure, Punish. We have excellent AoE between Thunderhorn, Grasp, and Anti-Swarm with Infest. Infest Grasp would just go really nicely with the Burn package. Let's see, the other alternative would be, instead of Sentinels, going for Blazehound, Spelljammer, at which point I'd probably want to try and cram Darkseid back in there somewhere, especially, you know, Darkseid's a pretty good burst. Alright, so if I can't fit Darkseid, I think I'd prefer the Sentinels to feeding my opponent cards. If I can find room for Darkseid, then I would very much prefer those. But because we're trying so hard to make Infest and Grasp work here, I'm not really seeing room for Spelljammer or Blazehound. I guess technically we could not run, or we could go back to the 2-2 split and throw Spelljammer in, or we could just run one of the Sentinels, but I've always preferred to have, if I'm going to run the Sentinels, I like to run both, and when it comes down to it, I've always been more of a fan of Zeroth than I have been Tormentor, just because Zeroth can be constant. You know, Zeroth works more than once. That's the thing. And Tormentor is sort of up to your opponent how good it is. People play around the Tormentor frequently, so you usually only get like a 2-drop off of it. I mean, maybe just going for Blazehound and Spelljammer, even without Darkseid, is the way to go, just because they're very good aggro cards, and they're very reliable. And we are running some pretty tight synergy here. Yeah, alright. And it's a shame to cut the Sentinel squad, but I think if we're going to go the aggro route, running the traditional aggro draw units, it doesn't suck, but it's a crapshoot, and that's the problem. Like, it can be amazing, or it can be terrible, and I, on principle, really dislike that. Now, Demonic Conversion, on the other hand, isn't a bad card. You know, it's a 1-mana curve filler that you can play when you wouldn't have anything to do with the mana anyways, and it can either draw you something really good or replace fodder. Like, Conversion's not a bad card by any means. Now, Unfathomable Right, I am not a big fan of, and if you are going to run if you're going to run either right, you have to really build yourself into a low curve. Yeah, I think the, you know, good old Jammer, Blazehound, it's well, okay, that's the thing. So it's not that people play bad cards. It's that people play cards that are good for their deck. And cards that are good for one deck are not often good for another. So if you're just getting their 2-drops, then that sucks. If you're getting synergistic cards, that sucks. Sometimes you will get something good, and that's great. But you don't get that reliably. I mean, just 2 out of 3 chances you're not getting something useful. Now maybe on those really, I mean, right, like if you get a Lava Lasher or a Macantor, awesome. If you get a Kajata or a Golem Metallurgist or a Plasma Storm, or I mean, let's just take a look at like your standard Vath and Ragnarok list. let's see how many cards in there are good to steal and how many are bad. Alright, so Lava Slasher, Mechanter, and Finality. Like, there are 9 cards in this list that are actually good for me to steal, and the rest is not. The rest is just not very useful to me. And, you know, you stealing just a couple cards from your opponent, especially if they're running 3x cards, they usually already have what they want. I mean, again, I'm not playing a deck that's vulnerable to Plasma, and neither is he. If they're running Plasma, they're not playing a deck that's vulnerable to it. And neither is our deck. It's just, I mean, Ragebinder's okay. Natural's not really going to do much for us. Like, on an empty board, Vath wins. That's just how it works. Like, again, no, like, none of the removal is going to be useful versus Vath. It's, like, it's really only going to be, you know, these 3 top-end cards, and the rest is just replace fodder for us. Now, given Vath is a bit of a unique circumstance, but let's go over to Ragnarok, who's similar. Let's look at the most common, like, mid-range Ragnarok list. So let's see here. I mean, again, Slasher and Mechanter are really good, but all of the egg cards are terrible for us. Like, you know, Raptor's not going to do anything, Charm's not going to do anything, the Hatch cards aren't going to do anything. As I guess Lavalance is okay. Yeah, that's the problem. Like, I would rather have the cards in my deck, other than Mechanter and Lava Lasher, I'd rather have cards in my deck. Like, I would rather draw cards from my own deck than my opponent's, rather than these 2. Okay, I mean, that's fair. Charm does help against... I mean, right, these are all cards that are okay, but I'd rather have the cards in my deck. Like, other than Mechanter and Lava Lasher, there's not a card in here I'd want more than something that's in my deck, and that's the thing. His cards are good for his deck and just okay for mine. So that's the thing. It's not worth the gamble to me, and plus, I just don't like to gamble, period. If a card has an RNG factor to it, I avoid it on principle because I hate them. It's just, I would rather have my own cards. Other than 6 of the cards in this Ragnarok list, I'd rather have my own cards. And that's just how it is. Like, your cards are better for your deck, his cards are better for his deck, barring a couple specific exceptions. Right, but I'd still rather just draw my own card. You know, a deck that's running consistent 3-ofs is usually already going to have what they need. Stealing a card from their deck doesn't usually hinder them much at all. So I don't like them. You know, they, like, Conversion's a good card. Conversion's not bad at all. Right, I mean, neither of the rights are very good, and if you are going to play rights, you really have to design your deck around them to having like an ultra low curve and or some, you know, spell enhancers. So let me go ahead and make, not that I really want to play this, but let me go ahead and make a list that runs right and whatnot, just because, you know, there's some high demand for it. And, you know, just, it'd be a drastically different... I definitely wouldn't run Infest in that list. Like, I'd run a drastically different list. So, alright, so let's... So, if we want to run... So, alright, so Conversion's not a bad card. Right, you have to super build around. Let's see here. Probably not room for double rights, but let me just throw it in there for now. Probably will be cutting Undervault here. I mean, when that happens, that's great, but let's go ahead and go look at a Vitruvian list. Let's go look at our... So let's see here. So assembly lines, Eric's. Alright, so I would like to get Blood of Air. Fault's not bad, but not great, because usually they will play, like, if you've played Rite of the Undervault, they're at the point where they're already going to have a Fault out, and the first Fault usually is going to win. So, stealing a Fault is cool, but not very practical. So, like, Blood of Air I'd want. Sand Swirl... No, Sand Swirl doesn't do... Yes, okay. Blood of Air, Sand Swirl... And that's about it. Like, again, there's 6 cards in this guy's deck that I want more than the cards in my deck. And it's just, for the most part, I'd rather draw the cards in my deck than theirs. And no, I mean, when you're playing Fault at 8 mana, you're already in. If you have gone to 8 mana and they've already gotten 2 turns out of a Fault, you've already lost that game. You wasted an entire turn on Rite after they've played Fault. Yeah, you're just... No, like, stealing Fault isn't going to help you. Like, you'll have wasted a whole turn on Rite, and then they're going to get 2 turns out of their Fault. Stealing a Fault won't help, and you can't steal Fault with Conversion. So, it's just... I would rather have the cards in my deck other than Blood of Air and Sand Swirl. So just, again, occasionally it works out great, but most of the time it's worse than having the cards in your deck, doesn't hinder them, and you're gambling. And I don't like to gamble. But it doesn't. Like, that's the problem. They're going to get 2 turns out of their Fault, and you've wasted a turn. Like, if you're ever in this position to play a Fault after you've stole it, you've probably already lost. Now, that being said, I suppose with the Infest shell, you know, it could work. But again, I'd rather just not play Fault and just play the aggro list, which was going to wreck the Fault list in theory as it is. I don't like them on principle. And I don't think Rite's a terribly good card at all. Conversion's a good card, like it is, but I still don't like it on principle. Alright, so now so let's go ahead and... Okay, so we're going to want a really, really low curve if we're going to be playing Rite. So, Void Pulse. We're not really going to want any other draw power. Right, but that's a product of this list being good against Fault. It has nothing to do with Unfathomable. Like, this list is just good against Fault. It has nothing to do with Unfathomable. Alright, so, let's see. I'll throw Gibbet. I like Gibbet. He's not an amazing card, but I think he's super fun. And, you know, I'm throwing him for now. He might get cut. Now, let's see here. Other... cheap card. Punish is a given. Spectral Blade's pretty good. We want to keep things pretty much under the 3 mana mark if we're playing Rites. And we can't include too much other card advantage. We'll still probably throw Desolator in because he always feels too good to skip. Alright, so Desolator in. That'll be our other, if we can't find Unfathomable. Okay. Oh, wait. Well, that would be the... Okay, the Undervault's not going to work. That's not going to happen. Alright, so now back on over here. So we're still probably thinking sort of an aggro list, because that's the most complementary to Rite, because, you know, dump out your hand, refill, and switch gears. So Herald, no for aggro. Yes, but we will want that spell reducer, so we'll want Flame Blood, we'll want, where's that Arcanist fellow? I've lost him already. There's our Mana Forger. Okay, so that's sort of how you want to play a right list, just like ultra low aggressive curve that transitions into right to refill right when you would be running out. Primarily playing an aggro game here. We have Desolator for if we can't find a right.
Sort of.
Let's see here. We're still one card short of finishing the deck.
Did you do temples? Wait, at night they're really still. I suppose until we try to school. How do you do? I feel like I got hit by a truck because I think the tadpoles out.
Let's see here. Alright, so curve is a little low even for Blade. I mean, I guess technically we could cram Infest in here, but I'm still not sold on that. Like, you really want to, I feel like you really want to build a deck around Infest, or you want to build a deck around Right. I just don't see them mixing together too well. Let's see, I guess maybe just good old Healing Mystic in here, just because healthy body helps keep you safe from how much face you're going. Okay, so I mean that's basically sort of how you want to build a deck that's running Right. Just like dump your hand out, get a whole bunch of early pressure on, then completely refill and crush them with that refill. This is traditionally played with normal and here we are again. I still think I'd rather just have normal Right, because I'd really want to be just continuing to draw my cheap aggro spam here. I mean, Unfathomable fits because okay, so I guess we could just run double Right and maybe even cut the Desolator. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. So we'll cut the Desolator, just build a Right deck. Awkward. Now, we've got Pulse, we've got Healing Mystic, and we're super aggressive. So just okay. Now we have two Rights here. Yeah, the Deso does Clog Hand. You can never play Desolator too much. However, a Right deck is probably one of the very like Hyperswarm and Right are like pretty much the only exceptions to Desolator. But yeah, Desolator doesn't fit here. So okay, so there you go. I mean that's how you'd play a Right deck. Just ultra low curve with an aggro focus that just dumps its hand out and then refills. Yeah, no, Desolator and Right do not get along. This is absolutely true. Okay, so I mean, yeah, that's if I was gonna play Unfathomable Right, this is how I'd do it. This is a deck that could actually hit fatigue. So as Black Waltz is pointing out, that's another funny factor of let's start drawing from their deck rather than theirs. So like, yeah, if I was ever going to play Unfathomable Right, it would be something like this. But let's go back to the deck I'm actually interested in, because can't ask me to play both of them right now, and this one I'm actually sort of excited about. Okay, so we've got our standard aggro shell. We've got Fun Time, Infest, Position Manipulation. Something else to consider is like Recombobulus or like maybe instead of Gibbet, like Recombobb, or yeah, let's cut the Gibbet. It's a shame to cut the Gibbet because he's super good with Repulsor and Demonic Lure, but I love my Gibbets, but we've got enough control tools. Like, we have Lure, Punish, and Repulse. We really don't need the Gibbet. But what could be super cool is Recombobb to cement our strategy here of forcing people to play into Grasp, Infest, Thunderhorn, and the like. And Recombobb is, he's got that ideal body that you want to be seeing. Other options are still, of course, Healing Mystic, Gibbet, Primus. So that's probably where we want to be for this deck. Like, Recombobb has a good body, and he can definitely help out with our sort of abuse these cards list. So let's give that a whirl. Make everybody happy here. And I've wanted to try and mess with Infest for a while. And I think this is a list it could shine in. So I have to craft some Infests for you guys, but that's alright. E.T. Infest. Alright, craft. Alright, I'm broke there, but alright, so let's disenchant some extras. Okay, that wasn't much. Alright, let's see. We'll go buy a bunch of stuff. Alright, let's see. What pack is Infest from? I'm still probably best off just buying the core set, because it's the best. Chances of getting an Infest are unlikely. So let's see. We probably need, to make 2 legends, probably need 15 packs. Open all my orbs, and that should give me enough spirit to make those Infests. If not, well, I can figure it out then. Alright, oh man, we got a good chunk of prismatics. We got 2 legendary prismatics. Alright, we already have Infest. Alright, let's go ahead and hit that disenchant extras button. Ooh, my client frozen on me, or is that just a lot of stuff? That's probably just a lot of stuff. Now let's go take a look, find those prismat. All right, you can go. Oh, Crescendo. Deep Fire can go. I need to make sure I have 3 copies of Fractal before I toss that. Alright, so remember to check for Fractal. There's got to be another. There's totally another prismatic legendary in here somewhere. But where? I'm still not sure. Oh, there it is. Oh, prismatic Eclipse. Alright, well, let me make sure I have 3 Eclipse and Fractals before I. Alright. Okay, no, I have no Eclipse, so I'm going to hold on to that little prismatic fellow for now. And let's check Fractal. Okay, I do have 3 Fractals, so you can go. Yeah, prismatic spells you probably can't even tap. But I am going to hold on to that Eclipse because I am not desperate for Spirit. And I don't have any. I disenchanted them during, when rotations happened. Alright. Okay, now we're ready to go. Okay, this could be a pretty fun deck. Finally a chance to... So, I didn't know Infest... I knew Infest didn't work with Breath. I was really sad to discover that on release. But what I didn't know is that it did work with Grasp. And knowing that really gives me some hope for the deck. Alright, let's see here. Oh boy, okay, so last I checked, I think in either case Infest might be good here. Let's see. Probably don't need the Blood Tear. Recombob is likely our opening play. It'll be a shame. Well, I'll toss the Repulsor for now. It's a little early for that. Yeah, Lure is what we wanted to be seeing. Let's see, what do we got? Okay, was he the one that was playing the do-it-yourself Titan artifact list? I can't remember now. But I think Infest should be pretty good against Brome in general. Let's see here. Probably don't need Punish. Yeah, Blazehound's perfect right now. He will burn a card. Yeah, that's perfect. If all goes well, we might even get... Ooh. No, Infest Lure is still just too much mana for now. Unfortunately, it can't even reap. Okay, we don't need the Spelljammer this early with our hand this full. These Infests really want to be played. Although... I mean, I could start the Infest chain here, just with Blood Tear. That could be fun, especially since we're going to have Demonic Loot. Yeah, let's go ahead and start this Infest chain. That could be fun. Alright, so let's tip our hand and see how this goes. So that will infest the Silver Guard. Okay, so now he is confused. Now we killed that, and that'll infest the Silver Guard. And now we can get, and now you're infested, and we can get ready to finish you off with, we'll lure something over, and we can finish that off with an attack and a scar. Yeah, we're going to get this Infest chain rolling. Yeah, I think this is the deck. I think Infest might secretly be good here. Can you double Infest? Is that a thing? Does double infest work? Do they spread double? Alright. Do I want that? Recombobulus. I mean, I can get... Actually, okay. Yeah, we'll go for Recombob. Okay, because we can get 100%, put it there. Oh, that's cool. Alright, so here's another fun place. So we will go ahead and globe deny with this replicant, putting it here, which will also have the added bonus of making this Recombobulus not random at all. Now we toss this up there, where... Okay, and now we can hop up here, trade into it for minimal health loss, and continue that infest chain here. Okay, that was nice. Yeah, I think Thunderhorn's going to be very good in this matchup in general. Probably had our fun with Infest. At this point, we need to look for... Wait, Oh, it's multiplicative. Whoa!
Oh, jeez.
I shouldn't have replaced my backup one.
Oh, jeez.
That's actually really cool. And oh god, man, that infested six damage for 3 mana. That was pretty good. Oh boy, and we found all of our much needed card advantage. Well, that's a little unfortunate now that we don't have any removal at the moment, so we'll probably toss the Spelljammer, replace the Spelljammer in the hopes that we find removal, which the deck is packed full of. If we don't find one, then we'll play a Blazehound to see if we can draw into one. And worst comes to worst, assuming we still have access to that globe, we can just play Blazehound and Thunderhorn and call that good. Yeah, no, like, Infest is really good versus Fault. Infest could secretly be way better than everyone thought, and I'm already having fun with it. We got 6 damage for 3 mana. That was pretty impressive. Oh yeah, like, it'll ruin Fault. Alright, so fingers crossed we can find a removal for this Kron. That is not removal, but we may... Okay, so now we'll draw a card, see where that gets us. Not ideal, but we can get an Infestor. Wait, no we can't. I'm short on mana. That's a shame. But we gotta stop that. Alright, so we'll hit that. Not ideal, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Clear off that Kron. Heal up. And his health is just heading down. Oh good, and a Desolator. That was a nice Dancing Blitz. Has he played any spells? Is he a Titan list? Alright, I don't think Thunderhorn's going to work out for us. Ooh, yeah, here we go. We can keep the Infest fun times going here. Let's see, so, alright, so we will repulse this onto the tile. We will infest this. attack it to get 2 new Infest targets. And we can also finish this one off. Yeah, no, Infest is working out pretty well for us this game. And that will... Yeah, this is going... And now we can just Desolator spam the rest of the way here. No, I don't believe it does. Yeah, there's that Titan. Ooh, that definitely hurts. Ooh. Now we can't punish that like we'd hoped. That is not good for us. Not at all. Need to put the Sentinel next to the sword so it got 2 stacks. Yeah, but then I wouldn't have been able to kill the Sentinel. I had to put him on the creep to kill it. Well, I'm in a bad spot now. Like, I probably need that punish, but oh god, I'm almost dead. Well, no, punish has to go because I'm dead next. Ugh. Well, I mean, unfortunately, death by Titan looks to be what's happening here. Alright, so heal, ping, attacking is, I mean, we're, hold on. Oh no, we're just dead on board, unfortunately. Ah, well, we gave it our all. But Titan was too much for us. It was fun, though. That well-placed Kron just ruined our day, unfortunately. But you know, Infest definitely pulled its weight. Like, it did more than Darkseid usually does. He had his second Titan. Ah, jeez. Oh well. No, he drew well placed Kron. We didn't have, like, we needed either a lure or a repulsor when that Kron dropped, and well placed Kron was just too much for us. Too many provokes. But, you know, that was fun. I certainly enjoyed the Infest. It was super cool. We'll give it another round, because that was a good time. Well, I've never been a huge aggro fan. This is at least really neat. You know, aggro that makes you think is alright. And this is aggro that makes you think. Yeah. Yeah, let's give it one more game, and then I will probably switch back to Tempa Faie or maybe wrap up. Fingers crossed we get to run into a fault list. That would be pretty cool. Awkward mirror. Alright, well, let's see here. So if it's Aggro Cass, you probably don't need a punish. That's our opening play. It's Creep Cass. We just need to really amp up the aggro factor. Well, yeah, I think we'll toss the punish and keep everything else, because that's our opening play. That's our turn 2 if we don't find a 4-drop, and these like each other. We're too good to... Oh, Flame Blood's actually even better. So well, is Flame Blood better? Yeah, we don't want to tilt our hand too much here. We have the lure, so we don't need the Recombobb. So, because if it's Creep Cass, we really just need to turn up the aggro factor as fast as we can. He's pretty cool. Fest is a really neat card. I'd always wanted it to be good, and it might be finally able to shine. I do definitely think aggro is the place for it, though. It's just, basically aggro, all the aggro casts lists look the same, but then they trade out, they either go for Dark Seed, Intensify, just like, Revenants and the like. Or, could get a Grasp of Agony, it's not bad, let's see. So we'd go Grasp, Blood Tier, let it trade into our face. Or no, we're better off waiting on I think we'll just play a Blazehound this turn, and we'll be able to potentially get a lot more abuse out of Grasp and or Infest next. Or if we're really lucky, we find a Thunderhorn. So okay, so Blood Tier can go because we'll have a ping here. Although, alternatively, we could just start a double Infest, so do the first Infest, and then next turn we can Infest a second time and Demonic Lure something, but that doesn't feel good. Let's just go for the Blazehound. Keep it simple. Alright, so it does appear to be Creep Cass. I mean, Ooze sometimes is just good enough to run in whatever, but more than likely Creep Cass. So if we're lucky, he will play. He's not going to be playing around. I mean, he'll probably play around Thunderhorn. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, can we get perfect? Okay, so 3, 4, 5. We can't Infest and Grass, which is frustrating. Well, let's toss one of the Infests. Yeah, I think we'll just go for Grass. Let's see here. So we Lure, Grasp, and Ping. So we'll put this here. Ah, crap. I should have done that a little differently. Oh, well, no, it's fine, isn't it? Okay, so now we can... Oh, wait, no, it's not entirely fine because now we risk running into the Tombstone. Oh, well. We screwed up our aggro plan a bit here. Fingers crossed he gets a bad Tombstone spawn. Hey, you got a bad Tombstone spawn. Good deal. Alright, we'll likely do a Punish, Scar, Infest. Ooh. Or we may just play the Thunder. Well, we'll see what we draw. Yeah, if he is playing actual creep and he's got munches, we don't want to let him munch into a Spelljammer. And also, we don't need the Spelljammer draw at the moment. Ooh, Kron. That's a problem. That is definitely a problem. Because we do not have Scar this turn. Well, that's bad. Alright, well, we'll toss the Jammer. Ooh. That. Shame I can't. 3. No, I think we do have to. Doing Lure and Punish just to clear the Kron? That feels so bad. But I cannot let this Kron's. Well, maybe I should just play a Thunderhorn and let him get another turn out of the Kron. Because then I can do, yeah. Boy, this is awkward. Alright, so we'll just play a Thunderhorn. And we'll hope that, next turn we can really go crazy with Lure Infest or Infest Punish. Or if we're really lucky, Thunderhorn will live through a turn. I'll be frankly surprised if he does, but... Alright. But because we're playing an Infest deck, I don't even got to... if Thunder lives through the turn, we're in really good shape. If he doesn't, this could be hard here. I'd be surprised if Thunder lived through the turn. I mean, it's a perfect ping punish turn for him. Yeah, well. But now we don't have to use Lure just to proc Punish, and because we have Grasp and Infest, let's see here. 3, 4, 5, okay, well, options are limited, but we can at least get a good Grasp of Agony play off. Well, we still have the potential to get a good Grasp, and depending on how things go, maybe an Infest. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we don't need the Punish. We just... Okay, so if I... Okay, 3... Really want... Okay, so if I... 3, 4, 5... Not ideal. I think my best bet is just going for a strong Grasp. Yeah, Grasp is my best bet. Just completely clear his field. Yeah, just full wipe. Gets me stabilized. Although it doesn't push the damage, which is most unfortunate. Infest is pretty hard to set up, though, unfortunately. Play around Night Fiend just in case, and we are the aggro deck, so we do have to keep... These Krons keep showing up and giving us a hard time, even though in theory Infest could be hard on them. But, oh well. I mean, we wiped his field. We are the aggro deck, so we'll see what happens here. Oof. And he's got healing. Oh well. Oh boy. Yeah, we're probably boned. Yeah, Infest is just not happening this game. Alright, well, let's draw a card, see where that gets us. Not very far, unfortunately. I guess we can just make... Oh, no, we can't really make a wall because... Yeah, Infest is great versus Bolt or Swarm, but... if I play this Flame Blood, I'm gonna die. Yeah. Right, but there's so much stuff that isn't nice to steal, it would not be helping much. Alright, so I think... Whew. If I play Flame Blood, I'm almost... I'm probably dead. Alright, well, it's the best I got. Just push some damage. If he wants to come... Oh boy. Well, I'm probably just dead no matter what, unfortunately. He doesn't have 2 damage in hand, I'd be surprised. All it'll take for him is a Desolator. If I could find my own Desolator, I'd be in good shape, but unfortunately, you know, mid-range Cass is sort of a hard counter to aggro cast of all forms. Yeah. Again, I understand why you play the steel cards and why they have to work. I'm still sticking to I hate them on principle and they are not consistent enough for me to want to play them. Oh, shit. Oh man, they didn't play anything. Didn't even give us the opportunity. But we can't play the Flame Blood because we just die. Oh, Desolator. That's exactly what we needed to see right now. Alright, so we can get a nice grasp. Alright, so heal up. Grasp. Ping Punish. Shame he didn't play anything else. So we could get an Infest off. Well, we couldn't afford to do the Infest anyways. We needed the heal. I understand why you play the steel cards. I understand why they work, but I'm sticking to I dislike them on principle and they're not consistent enough for me to want to run them in a competitive list. And if I was going to run right, you know, I'd do it sort of like this. Right, but just because something works doesn't mean it's consistent.
It also doesn't necessarily mean it's your style.
Yeah, that's also true. I mean, even if these cards were ridiculously overpowered, I still would not play them because I hate them.
Like, you won't catch me dead playing with a crossbow ever in any game. Even if it's the only ranged option.
Pet your cat.
Hi, cat. You wouldn't let me pet you all day.
Like, I mean, I can see why they work, but I still don't like them and don't think they're consistent enough. When they work, they work. When they don't, they don't, and that's just how RNG is. Well, looks like we're just going to go for Desolator spam. Override tiles as we go here. Can I get the Desolator out of Dispel range? No. So in that case, we'll just play it in his direction. I mean, so like the classic example is Wanderer and Meltdown. 2 cards that are crazy overpowered, but they are steeped with RNG problems, and thus why I refused to touch them. Like, you'll never catch me playing Wanderer, you never caught me playing Meltdown, and that's because I refuse to gamble and really abhor their concepts. Ah, he got his own Desolator. This is going to be an awkward match. Awkward match. Although, I could get an Infest off. Yeah, let's get an Infest off. So we Infest. Oh, I have a second Desolator. It is a massive crapshoot propped up by an overpowered card. Okay, I don't need two of these. Well, Infest might win us the game after all. Oh, right, I can even afford the Void Pulse. Nice. The difference is, because normally you'd run 6 to 9, not 3, only one of them being good, and frequently the majority of my losses versus Wanderer are because of cards like, Finality, Lava Lasher, Mecanter, the cards that have absolutely no... He was at 8 health. I don't see any way I could have gotten lethal. I drew this Void Pulse at the end of turn. I could have gotten 2 Desolators and a Pulse for 6 damage. He was at 8. I see no way I could have done 8 damage. At most, I could have done 6 via 2 Desolators and a Void Pulse. This was the end of turn draw. But most of my losses versus Wanderer are because they luck out and get their single 1 or 2 copies of Rampish cards and get their early Wanderer, or because they manage to perfectly curve out with cards that have no substitute by, like, Lava Lasher and Mecanter. It requires a hefty amount of luck on their part. Of either, high rolling and getting a ramped Wanderer, or being able to draw perfectly on curve the cards that have no substitutes. Because the rest of the time, I tend to beat Wanderer, except for when they do ridiculous high roll nonsense and are able to top deck the single card in their deck. Hit the Dio with my face. I infested him that turn. I spent 3 mana on Infest, so nothing would have been infested. So my hand was Infest, Double Desolator, Impulse. I had 9 mana. I could have... double pulsed and oh, okay, let's see. So, double pulse would have been 4. Okay, so that's 7 of my mana. I have a lot of trouble visualizing things. I usually need a visual cue, so it's going to take me a minute to remember how that played out. So if I'd have infested the Desolator and pinged it, that was 4 of my mana, and 2 damage to him. I then could have killed the Dio with my face and the Desolator, doing another 2 damage to him. Oh yeah, you're right. I could have done it exactly. You are absolutely right, but I am not very used to Infest, that's for sure. Well, it did work out, though, and yeah, you're absolutely, especially at the end of that game, I could have used Infest even better. So, I do think the deck is pretty solid. It has, it's about on par with the Dark Seed, or the, it's on par with Dark Seed and in the Intensify engine. Although what it does have the advantage of the other two is this one is better versus Fault. I think it's on par with the other two versus the other decks. However, it is better versus Fault, which I think does put this slightly above my other 2 death variants, and this very well will likely make it into my thread as a 3rd variant of death, just because Infest is oddly good in the current meta. Like, it accomplishes similar things that Darkseid or the Intensify engine does, although it's a lot harder to play. Like, these 2 versions are much easier. I mean, I'd won that game regardless. I don't think he could have killed me, and I had enough damage in hand to finish him off. But yeah, no, this deck has some potential. It's on par with these other 2 lists, but it is slightly better against one of the most popular decks in the game. The drawback being it is way harder to play than the others, which also makes it really neat. However, it does suffer from the usual aggro problems of, if an Earth Sphere ever shows up, you're pretty much screwed. Yeah, and Thunderhorn's also pretty good versus Eggrag, and, well, less good, because now that he's at 4 health, he dies to everything he dies to Lava Lance, he dies to Mccanter, he dies to Lava Slasher. Unfortunately, Thunderhorn is not good against Magmar anymore. But, yeah, no, Infest is very good versus Fault. It's alright versus Egg. It's pretty good versus Trial Lionar. Yeah, no, it really has the potential. Like, it is on par with the other 2 lists, but better suited for the meta if you can play it right. As, boy, is it an easy deck to screw up. I'm trying to think, are there any improvements we could make to the deck? Did anybody underperform? Nope. I mean, Recombobulus is still up in the air, but we have had, he's still a great play, and he has pulled his weight already. Like, we got a very strong play. Oh, I mean, Lava Slasher, they have to take 4 damage, but then they can play their eggs safely. I mean, right, like, when you manage to steal those, that's amazing, but that's not a consistent thing, and if you're stealing their egg cards, you've stolen cards that are basically useless to you. Like, yeah, it absolutely can work out great and completely crush somebody with the high roll, just like Wanderer and Meltdown, but you're relying on high roll, which I'm not a fan of. So, you know, maybe next stream, if you guys insist, I can play a steel deck, but I'm not going to mix them together. I'm going to keep Infest in aggro, and I'm going to keep Right in ultra low curve list. Yeah, Recombobulus isn't... Recombobulus isn't required. I don't think Blazehound can be replaced. Like, he's a very much needed source of card advantage and a really great aggro tool. Now, Recombobulus could be replaced, but Blazehound, I don't think so. Blazehound's a big deal for this deck. So, no, I think overall, I mean, let's see, what other 2-drops could we run instead of Recombobulus? Alright, so there's the, Gibbet, but I don't think we need Gibbet here. We have an excess in control tools. Right, but chances are they've already dug into the one charm that they do need. Or, you know, they don't need charm to win. It's just, I did try, Komodo Hunters were in the first draft, but they got cut because the deck needed card advantage. I really wanted to fit the Komodo Hunters, like they were where the Blazehound was, but we really needed the card advantage because, I mean, they do exist. Like, the card absolutely can work, and you can build a synergistic deck around it. Like, they're cards that can work. Like, they're not bad as long as you build around them. However, they're often bad too. And just, I refuse to rely on that much chance. Even though they can be good, and often are good, especially if you built around them, the chance factor is just too high for me. And there are some very good upsides. There are also, I mean, for every good thing you point out about them, there's a flip side to that coin of, well, you may have just pulled a 2-drop or a card that's not useful to you. It's just, for every good thing about them, there's a bad thing, which means they, on average, equal out to okay cards, and if you built around them, they work. But I don't like playing the high roll, low roll game. It's the same reason you won't catch me playing Wanderer, the same reason you never saw me playing Meltdown. Ah, yes. Spriggan Komodo were my early rough drafts of Infest before I retired the deck and dismissed Infest as not good enough. And I would love to fit Komodo in here, but Recombobulus can't be traded for anything but a 1 or 2 drop. You know, solid options you could use instead of him, of course, are, you know, your usual Healing Mystic, or your Primus Fist, like, you know, some other, you know, staple 2-drops. But I think for the deck as it stands, I think he's the best specific pick. But if the meta adapted to the point where, like, aggro started coming up, then, you know, it could swap with Healing Mystic. You know, Recombobulus is a flex slot, although he's the best default pick unless you need to be teching specific things. And then, you know, while I would love to fit Komodo in, I can't. I need to find some other way to shove card advantage in here. So I guess if we really wanted to fit Komodo in here, the only way I could see to make that happen would be something like, trading Recombobulus for, trade Recombobulus and Blazehound in favor of, Replicant. Where at my current location the internet is pretty shaky, so there's a little bit more of a delay than usual, but there's always been a delay, and I have never known why or figured out a way for me to fix it. There's always been about a 30-second delay, even when I'm playing in places with perfect internet, so I don't know. But so this is a way that could work out. Get our card advantage in our 2-drop and still make room for the Komodo Hunter, and this may have some merit, but then Right, but I would infinitely prefer Replicant, Spelljammer, or Blazehound to card steals. Right. It has synergy. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying I don't like it. I don't think it's consistent enough. Alright.
Just because something has synergy doesn't mean it's good synergy.
I mean, it's not bad either. It's not bad either. Alright, so
there's better.
Yes, I do think there is better, but it does have its own merit. And if it's your style, you don't mind rolling the dice.
Like if it's something that you find fun, go for it.
Yeah.
But we don't find it fun, so we're not doing it. I personally think it would be freaking hilarious. I love stealing things from people.
Yeah. So
in games,
I mean, maybe next stream. If you guys show up, you still want me to play it, I may begrudgingly do so.
I might harass him into playing it.
No.
I can try!
No.
Please!
No.
I don't understand how this game works. Do the thing. See, I'll try. I'll try for you.
Alright, so the only way I could see fitting Komodo Hunter in is something like this here. I mean, stealing doesn't usually harm them. Most of the time, you're just not going to let me stop talking about this, are we? I'm trying to move on here.
What a thief! And you're crushing our dream.
Next stream, if you guys really insist, I can do so, but not right now.
You sound like a tired parent.
That's.
You sound like a tired parent trying to steal toddlers away from the candy aisle.
Yes, that's about right. So the problem here is, while this would work, we start to lose our aggro game plan a bit. Like Blazehound is better than Komodo for aggro, as is Repulsor here. This has better synergy with the deck, but I think unfortunately will ultimately make the deck weaker. But if you were really committed and wanted to make room for the Komodos, this is probably how you would do it. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the result of this version of the deck. I think I'm done playing with it for the night, though, just because I've never been a huge aggro fan here. But it's very solid. I'm very happy you guys convinced me to play Infest again, because it's a really cool card I always liked. Alright, well, thanks for stopping by, Black Waltz. I hope I satisfied your Infest need, even if I didn't also do the steals. I hope our conversation was in good fun and not in the debate that makes people get their feelings hurt. Alright, so yeah, I'm happy with the result of that. Actually, let me go ahead and build it a side deck really quick while I'm thinking about, so we can like throw Komodo in the side deck, Replicant in the side deck, Mystic in the side deck. Alright, so that way you have the off. So should aggro not be practical because you run into somebody with a bunch of healing, you can switch gears into the Replicant Komodo route for a little bit more tempo. Should you find yourself needing healing, you can swap out the Recombobulus for the... Alright, and then let's go ahead and toss a single Betray in there for our final... Just a big ol' nope to Titan decks, and there it goes. So now the deck has a side deck, which also features as a, you know, if the meta's changing, you can make out a couple cards there. But yeah, there we go. I am happy with the result of that deck. It can shift gears to a little bit more tempo, it can shift gears to more anti-aggro, or I'll screw you Titan one of. Alright, I'm happy with that. That was a good time. Alright. I'll throw this in my archive of decks here. That way I don't have to start from scratch. It comes up again next time. I'm going to exit that out. This will probably make its way into my master thread soon enough, because I'm very happy with it, and I think now we can perhaps go back to my original plan for the evening of seeing if I can get Tempo Faie into top 10, because I've really been enjoying the deck. The only other thing on the agenda was I tried out a variation of my old Final Destination deck. My current one looks a little bit more like the tempo list, but long time ago, I used to run like Dagonas and the like in the list just because it was really fun. And I recently, shifted it more towards the tempo list because of stuff like Sand Swirl and Blood of Air made, playing just big bodies not terribly practical. However, Moose. Yes, Moose has been helping me soar through the ladder. I do think this is a top 10 quality deck, and I'm seeing if I can prove it. God, I love my Moose. Moose, Cryo, EMP, Bender, Wisp. It's just a beautiful, beautiful package. But yeah, a while ago I re-teched my Wanderer deck a little bit. I took Cloudcaller out of the main board in favor of Pony, and I took out my Healing Mystics in favor of Blood Tears, just to be better prepared for Wanderer. We're actually running Pony.
We are?
Yeah, because it's really good versus Wanderer.
Why is it so good versus Wanderer?
Because Sunset Paragon's effect is an opening gambit. When you summon it, everything around it deals damage to itself.
Okay.
Wanderer has a nice even 7/7 stat line, so it just kills itself.
Okay.
So it's just a Cryo. Cryo is sort of one of my signatures. Everyone else keeps telling me it's a bad card. I'm like, nah, Cryo's amazing! And Moose is a Vesper. Moose is a Vesper.
Wait.
So you can run Cryo and Moose together, and now you have a powerful card advantage / removal engine. That's just great. I mean, because your alternative is running like Corona, which is pretty bad now, or trying to run Spelljammer in a tempo deck, which may end up helping your opponent more than it does you. And Moose does tons of work. I love running Cryo with just a single Vesper in the deck. And, the Cryo Moose package has been responsible for a lot of my Banner decks doing so well. And another thing I'll often do is Cryo Shivers, because Shivers is also Vesper. You know, people love to hate on Moose, Cryo, and Shivers, and I swear by them as really, really solid cards in the right deck. Like, I won my Team Wars match today thanks to Shivers. Alright, so let's see here. We're up against Cass, meaning likely either aggro or creep. Meaning, so for if it's aggro, we need our benders. If it's creep, or if it's aggro, we need our herald. If it's creep, we need our benders. Let's see here. Let's see. We can probably do without the blood tier. I can't afford to replace the herald right now because it might be aggro. Moose is a good turn too. Mentor's probably my open. I'm reluctant to replace a Hearth Sister because it's a very good card, but I really need to be digging for my benders and hate wisps. Alright, there we go. There's our bender, which will also go with our moose. Very nice. We shouldn't need an EMP in this match. Okay, so it is aggro, so we don't need the EMP. We need the heals. Oh, good deal. We found a wisp as well. So I have the choice between just opening with Bender and playing it safe and denying him this globe, or playing the Mentor. I think we'll just throw down the Herald, recover some health. This way we can save the Mentor for when we actually have the Warbird to go along with it. So let's just globe deny, recover our health, call that good, and we will either do a turn to Moose or a turn to Wisp, depending on how things go. Shouldn't need... Well, we might want our Frostburns, because Agrocast tends to play a lot of low health units. But it is a little bit early. So if I play the Wisp, I'll probably hold on to the Frostburn. If I play the Moose, I'll probably replace the Frostburn. Abjugator. Interesting. I wonder what he's playing. I mean, he may just be playing just because he's playing, you know, Grasp and Pulse and the like. Let's see. Well, after seeing an Abjugator, I don't think hitting his mana is going to do much. And he definitely looks like an aggro cast list, so he only needs like 3 mana to function. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play the... He's played an Abjugator, he's more spell-focused than usual. So we'll toss the Frostburn, and we'll just hold on to all of our things here. Ooh, although that is also tempting, just to go full-on Wisp Abuse. Let's see, so... Now, we can always play the Wisp later. Moose is best right now. So let's go ahead, play the Moose, just gives us a nice body block here. And it will likely eat removal. You know, if he has a punish, he's going to use it on the Moose, which will clear the way for Wisp to survive a turn. And he can't just take both of these globes without getting punished by Warbird. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead. We just have to accept that Moose is going to be out of the action even if we dispelled him. So I think I'm better off just probably going for a Wisp. So let's toss the Bender, because we shouldn't need 2 of those. Let's hop up here, giving us options. Now I have the choice between Wisp or Mentor Spam. Let's see. So if I play Wisp now, that will put me up to 6 mana, 7 mana, meaning next turn I will be able to play Mentor on the globe Bender on the Wisp, and have the mana for Warbird. Alright, so let's go for the Wisp for now, and just hold off on the Warbird for next turn's Mentor. No, neither. I've never played Dota 2, and I have little interest in Artifact. Yep, alright, so assuming Wisp, well, I mean, and if Wisp doesn't live through the turn, then we won't need to play the Bender. So we'll have the mana for Mentor shenanigans either way. And if he just spends his whole turn killing the Wisp, I'm happy. Now we may just need to sort of hold on to this Hailstone for if we're lucky enough to find ourselves another... Ooh, we have a beautiful Bender. Unfortunately, we may miss the Mentor. Oh! Well, that's a shame. Right, that Abjugator is serving him very well. I may just want to go ahead and Bender. Yeah, because I can always Mentor next turn. Yeah, let's just Bender and get that Desolator out of here. I don't think we're going to need this Paragon. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and Bender. Bender Warbird's probably... Alright, so we'll go ahead and Bender and Globe Contest. Definitely not going to go face because our health is very valuable versus an aggro deck. Unfortunately, this does put us in a position to eat the damage from the Bender, or from the Desolator, but that's ultimately fine. You know, Meltwater Moose will eventually move his fat butt in here, and Andor will find a Heart Sister. Okay, we definitely don't need 2 Frostburns, because we're probably about to shift gears into Mentor spam here. Okay. Well, anytime Aggro Cass is having to spend time clearing your minions instead of killing you is a good time. Alright, well, we can definitely toss this spare Frostburn. Well, we can't afford to eat that 6 damage. I wanted to save the Hailstone for a Herald, but who knows if we'll find another Herald. So I think this... Alright, so let's pop that away. Let's play the Mentor. Actually, I think we'll just play the Mentor aggressively. Yeah, we'll play the Mentor aggressively, because if he sits there and attacks into it, that leaves him in range of Moose, which is a really bad idea. So let's deny this Globe, play the Mentor, Warbird spam, and call that good. You can't really afford to stay next to this Mentor to attack into it, and at this point we're looking at just wanting, like, Cass has lots of removal, so playing it on the back line probably isn't going to work out. So instead we're going to do it aggressively, giving us options and putting him in the awkward position that if he wants to clear it without just hard removal, he stays in range of moves, which could be really bad for him. We're playing around, you know, Grasp and all that. Oh, he punished the Moose. Curious. He could have easily just kept running away from it. Alright, now we can just actually clear this 10 health building, no problem, thanks to Cryo. Don't think we need another... No, we might want the Bender if he finds another Desolator, but we don't need is this Frostburn. Alright, so and here's another one of my favorite 4, 5, 6, 7... Oh, wait, never mind. Ooh, awkward. I have to choose between playing... No, we have to clear this Talon, so So while it's super awkward, we're just going to double cryo the thing. Super awkward. Usually I prefer to play a cryo and a moose in the same turn, but we cannot afford to let that Void Talon get through. Do I play around? He's already played a grass. I don't think I want to trade face with the Mentor, though, so let's go ahead and just clear that with Mentor and get our face to safety. And, you know, Cryo cycles into Moose, so it's not like we wasted anything. Like, Cryo's just a good card. People do not give Moose, Cryo, and Shivers enough credit. They are responsible for a lot of my wins. And we can just double Moose next turn and follow up with a Bender. Like double Moose, Warbird. In good shape. Our face is safe. He's almost out of cards. There goes his last removal. Now double Moose into Bender is going to probably be more than he has. Ooh, Darkseid definitely hurts, but with one card in hand, we're probably pretty safe here. Alright, we don't need two Paragons. Yep, double Moose. Transitioning into Bender next turn for the win. Most likely. Keeping our face safe, can't take any risks versus Cass. Ooh, yeah, we've got tons of options for next turn. Well, Moose is likely going to win us a game here. He had another punish. That's fine. Alright, let's see. So we get 6 from Moose, 8. Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, yeah, we've just got game here, I believe. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Alright. We got game thanks to Moose. Although we may have been able to... yeah, Moose Cryo. I love it. And then get the finish with Faie herself. Now this Tempo Faie list is rocking like a 90% win rate over like 20 games. But it's getting pretty late. Well, it's not late, but I've been streaming for a long time. I need to get food and do other things. So I think we'll end on a high note there. Yes. I think we'll just end on a high note there. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. Hope everyone had a good time. We definitely played some interesting things today and had some weird debates about RNG and whatnot. But it was a good time. I'm still very happy with my Tempo Faie list. Still, I was pleasantly surprised with how Infest performed. And, well, that's really all we did today. We just built Infest decks and played Tempo Faie. Alright, well, thanks for stopping by, everyone. I will catch you next time.